Hello, Lead Sim Academy parents. Uh, this is Todd Sear in the counseling office with our January cast off with the counselors. For those of you that are not aware, this is our monthly update. This is how we keep you informed as to what's going on in our student services department and generally what's going on campus. Try to put these out once a month. Following this, there will be a Q&A. Today is Monday, January 30th. The Q&A will take place on Friday, February 3rd. So without further ado, let's get started. There's a lot to cover today, but I'm going to try to not take up too much of your time. The beauty of this recording is you can pause, you can fast forward, you can rewind if you need to, go back and see information that you missed. Anyway, let's get into it. So we're going to start by talking about absences and makeup work. Now, what I have on the screen there for you is the district policy for makeup work. I'm not going to read it to you. I do want to point out the most important parts, which is secondary students are required to initiate contact with the teacher to obtain appropriate makeup work within 3 school days immediately following an absence. Middle schoolers are considered secondary students, and it is the student's responsibility to get in touch with the teacher once they return. Now, I will get into the ins and outs of the specific process here at LEAD in a second. Okay. Skipping down to the end, the makeup work must be returned to the teacher by the specified due date if it is to be acknowledged. Generally speaking, the specified due date from here on out is the end of the quarter. Our teachers will take work till the end of the quarter. That's the district policy. However, the way it's written, the students have 3 days to complete the makeup work. You know, teachers will take it till the end of the quarter. So that minimum of 3 days to complete the work, that really doesn't count. Okay, now, how does that work here? Well, our teachers use Canvas. Okay, each of your child's teachers has a Canvas page. We, the counselors and the student support services, the counselors, we have Canvas pages too. So what do the teachers post on Canvas? They post everything that they're working on. Okay, so if your child misses a day of school, they just have to log into the teacher's Canvas page and they'll see what it is that they missed. Many teachers also post videos to go along with the assignments. Okay. Excuse me. If your child is homesick or is just home from school and logs into the Canvas page and has questions for the teachers, they can email the teachers. Okay. Or they can wait till they return to class. Some teachers will say, I'll catch up with you when you return. Okay, now that brings me to the prearranged absences. So traditionally, and this is how it was when I was a kid, if you're going to be gone, if the student knows they're going to be gone for an extended period of time, they used to go around to the teachers and say, "Can I have the work that I'm going to miss?" Some students still do that, but I have to be honest with you, that's not really how it works anymore. Because of Canvas, students are expected to log into their teacher's Canvas pages either while they're out or when they get back, or catch up with the teacher when they get back. Like I said, many teachers will say, we'll catch up with you when you get back to school. So they can still go to their teachers and ask for the makeup work ahead of time, but don't be surprised if they don't get it. That's my point. Teacher might say, it's all on Canvas. So the bottom line is, when your child is absent, have them log into the teacher's Canvas pages to do the makeup work. Okay? If you have questions, you can call us in the counseling office and you can email the teachers. Okay, next up, I want to talk to you about nav times. As you are probably aware, nav time is a half hour during the lunch period here at LEAD where students get to choose a fun activity. It doesn't necessarily have to be academic. Now, some teachers do, well, all teachers have at least one day a week where they do makeup work, but that's not the purpose of nav time. The purpose of nav time is to give the kids a break. Um, so here's the process. There's an app on your child's Chromebook called All Timely, and that's where teachers are posting their nav times. Um, they get posted on Sundays. All right. So every Sunday evening, our lead navigators are expected to log into All Timely and choose their nav times for the week, for the entire week. So on a Sunday, they're going to pick their activities for Monday through Friday, or however many days of the week that school week has. Um, if they don't choose their activities on a Sunday, they can still choose them during the day. However, at 10:30 every weekday, All Timely is closed off to students, so they are not allowed to sign up for nav time after 10:30. And this is an issue because we have at least 100 kids almost every day who are not picking their nav times. It's actually higher than that. It's usually like 200, um, which means they're just not doing what they're expected to do. Um, so, what happens if they don't choose a nav time? Well, they go to first lunch and then they're sent to the hub, our library, during second lunch. And while they're in there with Mrs. Zimmerman, they pick their nav times for the rest of the week. So it's a pain when the kids aren't picking their nav times, and it's no fun for them because they have to sit in the hub. They don't get to go to a nav time. Now they can pick two. They can go to two nav times every lunch. Just so you're aware, lunch is an hour long here at Lead. So it's a half an hour for lunch and a half an hour for nav time. However, if students want to pick two nav times, they can. And their teachers usually let them eat during one of those nav times. What they cannot do is have two lunches. And that's a bit of an issue too. We try to catch the kids who are taking two lunches. If they're taking two lunches, that means either they didn't sign up for a nav time or they're skipping out on their nav time and just going to lunch, which that's a safety issue because they're not where they're supposed to be. If they signed up for a nav time and they don't go, and you call the school looking for them because they have a doctor's appointment or a family emergency, heaven forbid, we can't, you know, I mean, they'll get found, but it's not going to be immediate. There's going to have to be a bit of a hunt to find the kids if they're not in their nav times. So that's many reasons why it's really important that students sign up for their nav times every Sunday. Okay, all right. The Panorama survey was given on Tuesday, January 10th, so a couple weeks ago. What is that? It's a mental health questionnaire. It goes out 3 times a year. It's sent to the kiddos in class. And it asks them questions like, do you feel comfortable on campus? Do you have adults that you trust on campus? Do you feel you belong? It's, mental health. We use it to identify students that we might want to talk to. They don't always speak up. They don't always seek us out if they need some help. So this is a great way for us to find the kiddos who maybe are having issues and they're shy to talk about it, but they will mark it on the survey. Then we, the counselors and the Mr. Tarboro, there's actually a team of us, some teachers are on the team, some administrators are on the team. We get in touch with those kiddos and we talk it out. We see if there's something we could do to help. Now, often the students are not having issues. They either marked it on accident, they didn't understand, they weren't paying attention. So that's good. But if it's a serious issue and we talk to the kiddos, then, we're going to get in touch with you. So again, this was given to third period classes on January 10th, and we just got the results last week. So we're going to start reaching out to students. We may hear from us. Okay. Magnet school decisions are coming at the end of next month. So this is for mostly my 8th grade parents, but if you have a student in your family that's applying to a magnet, maybe another magnet middle school, maybe a magnet elementary school, decisions are coming at the end of February. Don't have an exact date. So how does this work? Well, you are the one that registered your kiddos for the magnet school. So you will be the one that's contacted. You'll get an email from the magnet schools department saying that your child's status has changed. It's not going to tell you what the decision was. It's just going to say that the status has changed. Okay. When you get that email, you log into your account at the Magnet High School, Magnet School website. Let me show you what that looks like. So here we are. This is the website for magnet schools. All right. You're going to go to application login to get an updated status for your child or children. Now, you're not going to see anything helpful on mine because I don't have any students currently applying for magnet schools. But this is where, once you log in, this is where you will see the results of the magnet lottery drawing. So what are the results going to look like? Oops. You're going to get one of three results. Either your child was selected, either they were placed in the alternative pool, or they're not qualified. So selected means, yay, they're in. Congratulations. Alternate pool means they qualify, but there's not a seat for them yet. So hang in there, and a seat might open up in the future. And by the way, students can be selected for seats at a magnet school up through the fall of the following year. So if you've got a kiddo going into high school and they're in the alternate pool for a magnet high school as of February, they could be selected in September of 2023. Not qualified means they didn't make it. Okay. If your child is selected, you can accept the seat right then and there on that page. And if it's the school that they want to go to, I highly recommend selecting that seat as soon as possible. Okay. Now, if you have questions, you're welcome to contact the magnet school of choice. We don't always have the answers here, especially if it's questions about a different school. We can answer questions regarding LEAD, of course, but if you have questions about, let's say, SECTA, Southeast Career and Technical Academy, I can't really answer those. Okay. Moving on. If your child is not attending a magnet school, if your 8th grader is not attending a magnet school, they're most likely going to a zoned high school. Those zoned high schools are going to be reaching out to our 8th graders very soon. Okay. They're going to give you information regarding 9th grade orientation, selecting their electives for 9th grade, schedules, things like that. So if your child is attending their zone school, you don't have to do anything as far as registration is concerned. It's a done deal. They're going to be pulled into their zone school and you're going to hear from them. If your child is attending a magnet high school, then the magnet high school is going to get in touch with the zone school to let them know that he or she is not going to that zone school. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to contact Arborview and say, no, my kid is going to Northwest Career and Technical Academy. No, Northwest Career and Technical Academy will get in touch with Arbor and let them know. I want to let my 8th grade parents know that the high school counselors have started reaching out to me already. So I'll be communicating with them over the next couple of weeks, giving them names of students that are zoned for schools, which means you're going to hear from them. I did get information last week, that Arborview is going to have their 8th grade night on March 29th. I don't have many more details, just March 29th. Once I have all the details, I'm going to post it on my Canvas page for sure, and I'll probably include it in next month's cast off. Following that 8th grade night, the counselors at Arbor will get your students their elective selection forms. Okay. All right. How about choosing electives here for my 6th and 7th grade parents? Well, the 6th and 7th grade counselors, Mrs. Murray and Mrs. Sims, are headed into classrooms soon. And they're going to talk to your students about choosing their electives. How does it work here? It's a Google form. That's probably how it is at high schools too. But anyway, I can definitely speak to the form here at LEAD. It is a Google form. And students are going to choose their top 3 choices, and Mrs. Murray and Mrs. Sims are going to do their best to get them into one of their top 3 choices. Disclaimer, we can't always give them the classes they want the most. Sixth graders will be choosing their CTE or magnet programs with Mrs. Murray also. That's, robotics or construction or computer science. One of the reasons they're coming to Lead is to go in one of those 3 programs. So sixth graders choose that program to start in 7th grade, and then they continue in that program for the rest of their time at Lead. I touched upon high schools on the last slide, but basically the counselors at the high schools or the magnet coordinators are going to get in touch with you and your child about choosing electives. If you have questions, once again, for the high school, I suggest contacting that high school. Okay, this is sort of related. Summer school information. Usually we get the summer school information in March or April. If memory serves, we got it in March last year. Once we get it, we'll put it on our Canvas pages. We'll let the kids know it's available so that, they can come seek us out, because we, the counselors, are the ones that sign up kids for summer school classes. I have heard that summer school is going to be free again, as it has been the past 2 years. And, it's a wonderful opportunity if students want to get ahead. There are specific classes that are offered in the summer. So that's a conversation we can have with you and your child. 8th grade parents, some high schools do offer summer courses for free to their incoming freshmen. Okay. If you want to know more about that, I suggest you get in touch with the high school. I'll give you an example. My nephew is a 9th grader at Northwest. And over the summer, my sister and brother-in-law had the option of enrolling him in the computer science course that's required for 9th graders. That's just an example. Other courses you might want to consider having your child take, they might want to take PE 1, which is 2 full semesters. They may want to take health, which is only 1 semester. Yes, it's a high school health course. It's different than what they took in 8th grade. But again, if you want your 8th grader to take summer school courses, I'm the one that signs them up, because they still belong to me until they really walk through the doors of high school. Okay, let's talk winter sports and spring sports. Basketball season is in full swing, and both our boys and girls basketball teams are 5-1, I believe. So we're off to a rip-roaring start. And congratulations to Coach Freeman and Coach Hanley. Volleyball is starting in February. Mr. Barney has been the coach for volleyball. I believe he's still going to be the coach. Cheerleading season is already in full swing. You'll see the cheerleaders at the basketball games cheering on our teams. Miss Perry is the coach for cheerleading. Softball, coached by my colleague, Mrs. Murray. The tryouts started over the weekend and last Friday, and they will continue this Wednesday and Thursday. And I'm not sure when the games start. I think it's March. Soccer season is starting in February also. And the coaches traditionally have been Mr. Roberts and Miss Long. Now, if you see a star next to the sport, that means it's an intramural sport, which means it's not necessarily recognized by the school district. That means that, uniforms and equipment, the money for those things has to be raised. So either the coaches are participating in fundraisers, or they're dipping into their own accounts. If you have questions, let the school know. But that's it for our winter and spring sports. Basically, softball wraps us up. Okay. An unpleasant conversation we need to have. And I know that the administrators discussed this last week at our town hall. Cleaning up on campus. We talk about this every year. It is better this year, I have to say. It is better than it was last year. But let's talk about the cafeteria and the commons. It is very important that students clean up after themselves in the cafeteria. I know this is sometimes an issue at home too. I have to get on my own kids about this. But it's a big difference when it's 1 or 2 kids at home versus 20 at the school, makes a big difference. Um, so please, reiterate to them that they have to pick up after themselves. I mean, it's a simple request. You eat some food in the cafeteria, throw away your trash. I mean, we have students that stack their trays and walk away. We have students that pour liquids into their trays and then throw food in the trays and then walk away. We have students that just get up, and when you tell them to pick up the tray, oh, that's not mine. Now, that's the exception. As a general rule, our lead navigators are very good about being corrected and picking up after themselves. So I don't want to make it sound like that they're all hooligans in the cafeteria. They're not. The commons, that's the area outside the cafeteria, the courtyard. Um, we're seeing food and bottles and containers and just general trash. And there's many places where it's being left. It's being left on the tables, it's being left on the benches, and sometimes it's just thrown on the ground. Ironically or not, sometimes it's left right next to the trash cans, which there are lots of trash cans out there. So there's no excuse for kids not to be able to throw their food away. So please talk to your kids about that and remind them it's the lead way. Okay. That's part of the expectation here at LEAD. And if you're not sure what the lead way is, ask your kiddos. They'll tell you. That's our code of conduct, basically. All right. And sad news for second lunch. Last week and the week prior, they were not allowed to eat outside because the commons area was so messy. And Principal Thorson decided, they've lost that privilege. I don't know what the status is starting today. We're going to find out at lunch. But I do know that, second lunch is not doing a great job cleaning up after themselves. So if your students were attending second lunch, you can ask them, why weren't you allowed to eat outside? Okay. Here's a program that I want to make you aware of. LensCrafters has an agreement with the school district, and they're working with our department, the Student Support Services Department. We are allowed to recommend one family that does not have insurance for a free eye exam and an eyeglass appointment. We can refer, like I said, one family. So it's one referral per school for January and February. Okay. I want to reiterate, you must not have vision insurance to qualify for this program. There are 8 locations where these appointments are taking place at LensCrafters throughout the valley. The appointments are on Sundays, with one exception being the LensCrafters in the Boulevard Mall. That particular store is offering appointments on Tuesdays only. So you must be able to get to the LensCrafters on a Sunday or a Tuesday. And my understanding is they're scheduling 2 months out. So if you're referred for the month of February, your appointment will most likely be in April. Okay. If you'd like to be considered for this program, get in touch with your child's counselor. Okay. We always end with dates to remember. Pretty light this time around, but here we go. The 16th of February, which is a Thursday, will be the Valentine's Dance, sponsored by Leadership. Starts at 3:15 and ends at 4:15. I'm sure more details are forthcoming. The 20th of February is our next day off, and that's President's Day, so none of us will be here on that day. The 10th of March, which is a Friday, that's the end of the third quarter, believe it or not. Your students are almost about to start their last quarter of the 2022-2023 school year. It's pretty amazing. Speaking of Friday the 10th, that's also the first day of spring break. So this year's spring break runs from Friday the 10th to Monday the 20th. So nobody's in school for spring break. Okay, I mentioned this at the beginning. We're going to have a live Q&A on Friday. That's this Friday at 9:30 in the morning. A Google form is going to be sent to you by the school. If you would like to sign up for the Q&A, you just fill out that Google form, and then we will give you an invite to the Google Meet taking place this Friday. You are not required to attend, but you're certainly encouraged to attend. We like to see our parents' smiling faces and we want to help you and answer your questions. Okay. All right. We want to thank you for your attention and for all your support. We really couldn't do this without you. This is our contact information right here. As always, the best way to get in touch with us is email. Um, I'd like to reiterate that Mr. Tarboro, we call him Coach T. He's our Safe Schools professional. He's a member of our Student Services Department. If your children have met him already, I know they love him. He's amazing. Um, and he is really great when working with personal issues, working on personal issues with students. So, if you want some help with your child's having a personal issue, feel free to contact Coach T. He's absolutely incredible, and we're so lucky to have him. Once again, thanks so much. We're here to help you and your child. Hope you have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon.